What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of All Things Super. I am one of your hosts, Spider, and I'm joined once again by the one, the only Mr. VIP, Frankie Washington. How are you doing today, sir?
I am infinitely awesome, sir. Thank you for asking. How are you doing?
I am doing fantastic. I am doing wonderful. It is a lovely day. It has been a lovely day. Weather's been nice. Well, I'll say this. The weather's been nice in the sense of it's not like cloudy because we've had a little bit of rain in the last week, but it started out in the 40s this mormorning. I think it was like 47
cold.
and now
in
it's
Celsius.
70 degrees. It's if it was 40 degrees Celsius, we would probably be dead because that'd be hot as fuck.
That's what I said. That sounds cold unless you're talking about Celsius.
Yeah.
Celsius, I don't want to be no part of it.
But yeah, we had a damn near 30-degree difference from in the morning till right now. So it's just kind of crazy.
So no picnic, no blanket.
I mean, if
snacks,
it was picnic weather at the around the early afternoon, I would say probably about 2-3 o'clock. It was probably picnic weather, but I mean, I was at work, so no time for me to go to a picnic.
Well, you got to find that work-life balance. That's right. You can't just picnic all the time.
Yeah, that's very true.
You can't just work all the time.
That was Eddie Murphy's second song that never got released. I want to picnic all the time.
You know what? I could see it going triple diamond.
Triple diamond? Yeah, I don't know if his first song went single diamond.
Party All the Time is a bop, man.
Party All the Time is a bop.
You got Rick James.
Party All the Time
Eddie
is
Murphy.
Underappreciated.
I think it is a highly underappreciated, and it's still relevant to this day.
It is.
Because everybody girl wants to do what?
Party all the time.
Even if they're sitting at home in their bathrobe watching TV with ice cream. That's a party. It's a party of one.
That's a party of one. Party. Party at home.
My girl wants to sit down at the house on a couch with or without a spouse. There you go.
There you go.
Rick James.
They could have redid it for COVID. Put out that COVID edition.
You know what? I think Eddie might have slipped and missed that opportunity because cocaine's a hell of a drug. Rick James
is a hell of a drug.
I want to take his word for it.
Well, if you don't know, this is All Things Super, where every week we take a piece of super-powered movie, TV shows, even trailers. We watch them, we react to them, we break them down, we review them, and we ask the question.
Yeah, we analyze that.
Is it super?
Is it super?
Is this super?
Analyze that? What? Analyze that.
But if you like that, go ahead, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you can be notified when we have new episodes that come out. If you want the audio version of the podcast, just search for All Things Super on your podcast streaming platform. And if you want to reach out to us, contact us on social media. You can follow us. Just click the link in the description below.
That's what I'm trying to tell them, Spider. If they leave a comment, we'll read it. ATS, analyze that. No, I'm just.
I mean, it fits.
We work hard over here, so y'all don't have to.
Exactly. We break it down so you don't even have to think. You just sit here and you listen to it.
You're welcome. Before The Rock even tell y'all again in the Moana live action version, you're welcome. Yeah, it's coming. It's coming.
Because not only are we getting a live action version, but we're also getting a sequel of the animated version.
So apologize for the live action version.
I don't know which one is coming out first, but I can understand, even though I don't necessarily care for the live action adaptations of the Disney movies. I understand.
They have not had one successful one. Besides, I would say Beauty and the Beast. I would say that was pretty close.
Yeah, I would say that's the closest they've got to a successful one. But that
Little Mermaid one was creepy.
Makes sense because it's far removed from the original. Like the original Little Mermaid, the original Beauty and the Beast, the animated version, they came out like what, back in the
golden age of animation,
the late 80s, early 90s, something like that.
Okay.
But you're still talking about like over 15-20 years of the movie being out before you get the live action adaptation of it. Because let me see. Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, they're not worrying about time or space at this current point in time in space.
1991. So the Beauty and the Beast came out in 1991, the animated version.
Mm-hmm.
The live action adaptation came out in 2017. So you're looking at what, 90 to 2015 is
The math. Hold
20
on. This is
years.
what we do. There you go.
So looking at 25, 26 years.
Ish.
So 26 years between the animated version and live action adaptation. Well, Moana came out 2016, and
Boom. Looking for this?
we're getting Moana
No,
the
no,
live
we're
action
not.
version in 2025. So that's
6
only a
years.
9-year difference.
Oh, there you go. They don't
So
care.
why? We don't
Like,
need
why
it.
would the live version of Moana drop before the Snow White version? Like, why wouldn't Snow White one come out a long time
Well,
ago?
they
It's just
did have
the
Snow
Snow
White and
White
the
that's
Huntsman,
coming
the
around.
Snow White and the Huntsman with Chris
Yeah,
Hemsworth
but
and Charlize
that
Theron.
wasn't Disney.
No,
That
that
wasn't
wasn't.
Disney at all. And I'm wondering if that was even in the public domain for them to do that.
I don't know.
And what happened to the Huntsman that was supposed to come out
The
with
sequel to
Chris
that,
Hemsworth? Yeah, what happened with
I
that?
don't know.
We wanted to see Chris throw an axe.
Didn't
Well,
he
a
throw an axe
different
in?
kind of axe.
Oh, I was about to say, didn't he throw an axe in that one in the Snow White and the
Is
Huntsman though?
that why he's now wielding the axe Stormbreaker because of Snow White and the Huntsman?
I seriously doubt it.
Listen, these people don't want to hear about any of this nonsense that Disney's doing. That's a whole different video. They want to hear about our boy Ricky
Ricky
Stanicky.
Stanicky. Oh my god. So you clicked
Ricky.
on a thumbnail. You already know what it is. We are
Oh,
reviewing
Ricky
Prime
Stanicky.
Video's newest film,
Mm-hmm.
Ricky Stanicky, starring John Cena and Zac Efron. I might cut you off.
Oh, then it's not important.
Oh, God.
John Cena. For those who are sitting here and watching us, thank you first and foremost,
First
because
and foremost, yes, absolutely.
we're always all over the place. That's what I love about this show, because you never know what you go get when you click. But if you're taking our word on whether you should be watching Ricky Stanicky on Amazon Prime Video, you're gonna have to wait to the end of the video.
Yeah.
So if we're gonna spoil something for you, my advice is for you to not watch us and go watch Ricky Stanicky if you think you want to know what we're talking about. But we'll do our best to try to break it down for you, because we analyze that shit on all
The
things
wrong
super.
way.
It's you can go either way.
Can you?
There's 4 of them on here.
Yeah, but you can't start in the S and go work back to the A if you're saying
Shit
analyze
that
this shit.
analyze. Shit that we analyze.
There you go. They got the W that you can't see. I like
The
that.
W is silent and invisible.
There you go. But no, yeah. So we're talking about Ricky Stanicky. So let's break this thing down.
Okay.
What did you think about Ricky Stanicky
As a person?
as the movie? Did you like it? Well, not did you like it, but let's just talk about what we saw in Ricky Stanicky. Anything that jumped out at you? Anything that kind of caught your attention, or anything that rubbed you the wrong way about the movie?
Yeah, he's not real.
Well, no, he's not real. We found that out in the trailer that he's not real.
Yeah, so there
And
you go. I didn't spoil
also,
anything.
do want to apologize to the audience because we did do a trailer reaction for Ricky Stanicky, and it was a pretty great video. We had a lot of
That
fun
video
in that
was
video.
so good.
But
Technology.
yeah, technology.
Shake your fist.
Did it? Damn computers. No, OBS kind of
Allen
nuked the
Iverson.
video and corrupted the file, so we lost that episode. And unfortunately, if we can't get it fixed, then that one won't be. But
yeah,
I mean,
and
we're
we
still
know
here
that y'all
talking about Ricky
actually like
Stanicky.
us, so y'all want to see all the stuff that we do. Because
Yeah,
again, every click is a surprise, because you never know what we'll talk about, because it's
absolutely
unscripted.
not. Because I mean, you click on a Ricky Stanicky thumbnail, what makes you know who's gonna think that we're gonna start off talking about Disney movies.
And we're testing your gangster. We want to see if you're going to stick around,
right,
and get the meat and potatoes that you want of Stanicky, or you're going to leave because your attention span is low.
I mean, I have a short attention span. I'll tell you that right now.
Well, how tall are you?
5'7"?
There you go. You have a 5'7" attention span.
I've never heard it explained that way, but maybe so.
Yeah, that's what I do, baby. That's what I do. I had an interesting conversation with my niece about words. We'll get into that another time.
Okay.
Yeah, basically saying that, people create words, or at least I do.
I mean, that's what Thor said in what was that? Infinity War? He
Yeah,
said
no
that's a
words are
made
made
up
up.
word. All words are made up words.
Yeah, she said no words are made up. Oh yeah, all words are made up. Something like that. Somebody didn't want to believe that was the case.
Oh, well, I mean,
Yeah.
look at Ricky Stanicky. Made up word.
Stanicky! Yeah, my gripe was Stanicky didn't exist. So we got these three friends that were gonna pull a prank on a house because they didn't give out any candy.
1999.
Back when Cash Money was taking over.
Yeah.
99 and 2000s. At least that's what they said.
That's what
Juvenile
said.
That's what, but it was before then, though. I mean, they get the flowers.
I mean, yeah.
So
Juvenile definitely getting his flowers these days.
Take a bunch of dog poop, put it in a brown bag, and they're gonna light it on fire, ring the doorbell. And the prank is when the owners of the house come out, they see this flaming
bag. I mean, they don't know it's poop. They just know it's the flaming bag.
And they know they got to put the fire out because their house can catch on fire. So they stomp it out.
Ever worked? I mean, I've
never done it, nor do I know anybody that has done it, because that involves gathering poop. And I think I can find a lot of other things to do with my time than to go poop gathering.
By the time I was old enough to like go trick-or-treating on my own, I wasn't trick-or-treating anymore. So it wasn't like I was going out with friends, going house to house, trying to get candy and everything like that. But I mean, I've seen people refer to it, this prank on TV. You see it in movies, but I don't know if there's ever been any real world applications of somebody doing it.
I'm sure somebody got caught.
I mean, because they had the idea had to come from somewhere, right?
Of course, they got pranksters all the way out there.
Yeah, I guess.
The interesting part is there were no other kids or parents or anybody else.
The streets were empty.
They look like WandaVision.
No, they actually had people in the streets in WandaVision.
You got to go certain far close to the edge of the hex, and they're starting to die off.
Oh yeah, then it starts to get a little bit empty. They don't have nobody living out there in the boonies.
But at least they had people that were in Halloween. The lady hanging a decoration. Some kids were just kind of glitchy.
You gotta have the actors on set.
You get glitchy around this area right here. And
so the lower right.
Stuck. Right. But that didn't have. This is a clear for
three kids on the cul-de-sac.
Then they get to a point that they light this poop on fire, but nobody's home, and it immediately goes wrong. They break into the house because they felt bad. They didn't want to burn down the house because the poop catches on fire with the snowman. I mean the scarecrow, scarecrow from the fall. And now the house is on fire, so they run in and trying to save the family, but nobody's home. And guess what? They actually do give out candy. There was a whole bowl right there at the door. They could have been going to the store to get more candy. Who knows? But the bottom line is we now have arson in the front yard or front porch of this house.
Right.
And these three kids are now panicking.
And the one that was dressed as Freddy Krueger was trying to put it out with his, I guess his sweater or his jacket or whatever.
His jacket. And then they get the bright idea, at least what is Zach?
It was
character get
Dean.
The bright idea to make up a name and write the name on the sweater.
Not even that he made up a name. He had them to give. Well, he made up the last name, but he had them to give him first name. So he starts writing down Ricky, and he says, "Oh, I need a last name." He says Stanton. He was like, "That's my last name." He was like, "But your first name is not Ricky."
Exactly. How could they ever put it together?
Right. So he writes the STAN. How do you get halfway through writing your last name before you realize that he gave you your last name?
There's a fire going on. There's a panic. I can understand that.
One thing I'll say in that scene, I know because the kid that was playing young Dean, when they were running away from the house so he could write in the jacket, he slipped. He ate shit when he slipped, and I know that was not a scripted slip. That was he was running and he just bust his ass. Like, nope.
All the way.
It adds to the panic. So leave that
Definitely. But Spider, that's where Stanicky was born. He
That's
was
where
born on
that's
that
where Stanicky
lawn.
was born. And for, of course, the fire department shows up, the cops show up. They're like, "Hey, the fucking kid left his clothes at the scene of the crime." Fucking Ricky Stanicky. And then
Wait, before we even go there, we got the fire going on, and the kids try to put the fire out, and of course they stomp on the bag
oh
and
yeah,
immediately get hot dog feces in their face. The kids say, "It went in my mouth."
that had to be
The
like,
whole
the
prank went.
bag had to be like half full of soupy diarrhea dog shit for it to splat out
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. Oh, make you reconsider pranks. So yeah, the
Clearly
police
not,
come.
because you see in the opening credits that did not deter them from
Oh
anything.
no, Ricky Stanicki's evolution had got worse and worse, and I think that was probably one of the best ways to capsulate it in an animated form to
Yeah,
show all the things in a montage form to show how we're relying more on Stanicky was here, Stanicky did it. You
right.
could never find him because he doesn't exist, but you keep getting these clues. It's kind of like how we were saying in the Doom video. You're making them bigger than life. You're prophesizing them, and how can they not be looked at as a huge thing? So much so that Dean's mom, was it Dean's mom? Dean's mom wasn't even sure that she even met him. She
No,
heard
that
about him
was
so much.
that yeah, that was no, that was JT's mom.
JT's mom.
Yeah.
Okay.
When they were questioning her, she was like, "Clearly you had to have met him." She was like, "Oh yeah, I know all of JT's friends. Ricky was a handful."
Exactly. Never met him once
Never
because he
met him
didn't
because he didn't.
exist. And these kids, again, Ricky made me do it. Even one of them was smoking pot. Where'd you get this pot from?
Mickey.
Stanicky.
And
And
I
I'm pretty.
just
I want to see Stanicky now. I want to
right.
talk to his parents, and none of that happened.
That never happened at any point. Or they just came up
Stanicky.
with some other kind of
Yeah, his whole
lie or something.
family's traveling the country, so
Yeah,
he gave it to me before he left, and
right.
2 3 weeks later,
And
until you get in trouble again, and you
I
say Stanicky,
do want to say
go for it.
forensic evidence was a thing in the late
In the
90s,
nine
early
nines,
2000s.
2000s. Hey, hey! Remember
They
when
can
we
find
used to have
fingerprints.
those? You remember you used to have those episodes for like we reviewed Fast and the Furious, and it told you to go ahead and turn your brain all the way off.
Yeah,
Just go ahead and turn that thing all the way, like when it says off here, go ahead and turn it more so
it's
off,
all the way
all the way off.
beyond
Like
off.
it's the Nicky, it's the Nicky,
It's
Ricky,
not a coverall
the
excuse,
Nicky, and he
but
named on John Cena.
yeah,
I'm gonna use that when I get a ticket. The cop's gonna be like license and registration. I'll be like, hey, Stanicky, Stanicky. You can
I
go.
don't. He's gonna tell you, "Sir, step out of the vehicle. I need you to walk this line."
Stanicky. I'm gonna be like, I am Groot. That's all I'm gonna say is Stanicky.
Have you been drinking tonight, sir?
Stanicky.
Nikki, step out of the car, please.
Is that a beer? Is that a beer that you're talking about? Is that alcohol that you're? Is that a code for something? Stanicky. So that montage was great though, because it sets the fact that these guys are using Stanicky as an alibi, almost like a get out of jail free card. In
Right.
a sense, it's the same thing. All the way up to the baby shower, which they don't want to go to. JT's wife is having a baby.
Right.
They don't want to go to the baby shower. They want to go to Atlantic City. They want to see the artist, which I actually seen that guy on the internet before.
Yeah,
I
I've
didn't
seen him.
know
I've
that
seen
he
him
was
on
a real
TikTok.
guy.
I didn't know he was that big to be in the movie, but that what did he say? Whatever the alarm song, the wake up song. Get the fuck out of bed, bitch, go. That one. Yeah, I saw that on TikTok, and then the sound was like going all over the place. Yeah, I didn't know he was that big.
If he wasn't, he is now. I'm sure he's getting booked. Jump out the crowd and pop the champagne open. Here he come.
Get the fuck out of
And
bed, bitch, go.
yeah, it's a vibe, Spider. It's got a
It
little vibe
is.
to it. So they go to Atlantic City, and next thing you know, Dean turns his phone back on because he wanted to get a picture. I believe he wanted to get a picture of somebody
He wanted
or
to get a picture
something.
of what was he taking a picture of? I don't even remember.
Yeah. So he turned his phone on because the idea was to turn the phone off. I mean,
So you can't track your location.
they made the excuse that Stanicky's cancer had came back and they want to go support their friend because it's a childhood friend. It's Stanicky.
Here's my thing, and this was the beyond the montage of everything. I felt like
Uh-huh.
this was the first unbelievable part of this movie, that not only Dean's girlfriend but also JT's wife, both of them are like, no, you should go. No,
Yeah,
you
you
guys
should
should
go
go.
support your friend.
Go
That's your
support your
friend
friend.
for this cancer is back.
But I
Right.
feel
That's
like
horrible.
real world, if
Here you go with your
you're,
logic in the
you know,
Stanicki film.
this damn logic. But no, just I would imagine that most people, if they're putting together a type of event at their home, because Dean was
Mm-hmm.
helping out, Dean was bringing in the
Yes.
beer, you know, he was helping
Yes.
out and everything,
Yes.
and I doubt that Erin will want to do all of that by herself. And of course, Susan's not going to do anything.
No, she's pregnant.
She's the this is baby showers for her. You're going to have
Yeah.
a house full of people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, look, I understand
Don't
that's your
invite
friend.
Madam Web though.
No,
Don't.
I wouldn't invite her because
She's
she's just going to
horrible
talk about
at
her
baby
dead mom.
showers.
But no, I would be like, look, I understand that's your friend and you want to be there for him, but this is Susan's baby shower. You
Mm-hmm.
know, this is something that we have been planning for months. And so, you know, just you can go see him tomorrow, you know, or we go see
That's
him afterwards. Something.
afterwards.
But
Not hard at all.
no, they were
But
just like, no, go, no. And then even
because we
JT,
used to Nikki for years, you know.
yeah. But even JT was like, oh, well, what was the boss's name? I forget.
William.
Summer Hayes.
Oh, okay. Character.
But William H. Macy, yeah.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, Summer Hayes is gonna be here, and it's like, no, you know, you go, I'll deal with Summer Hayes, their boss. And then
Mm-hmm.
Susan was like, no, what are you dumb? You're like, she was literally like, why would you even suggest for you to stay behind?
Because it's Ricky. The cancer's back.
Right,
You
the
need to go
cancer's
see
back.
Ricky. He's more important than anything.
Right.
All the way off. Turn it off.
So they leave, they go to Atlantic City, and
Uh-huh.
like you said, Dean turned his phone back on, and they're getting blown up.
Because
Miss call,
JT's wife
text
is
message.
in labor.
6 weeks early, she had a baby.
Mm. The joke that they showed in the trailer that you guys missed that we was watching. What's the other gentleman's name? The third
Wes.
one? Wes. Wes said that he was born 6 weeks early.
Yeah, it was.
The
They're in the
worry on
airport
their face.
because I don't even know where they were, like where they were living originally, like what city they originated from, where they had to catch a flight. They could just catch a quick flight to Atlantic City. But so they're running back because they got to catch a quick flight so they can get back home. They're going through security, and JT is like, "Oh my god, my kid was born 6 weeks early. Is he gonna be okay?" And Wes was like, "I was born 6 weeks early. Look at me." I'm like, "Oh shit."
The likelihood of it happening is crazy.
But
So
we
they
also get before they get back, we get the scene while they're on the plane going to Atlantic City. They bring out the Bible, which is the Bible of Stanicky.
Yeah.
All the lies that they've told about Ricky Stanicky, they have written them
gotta-
all down in order for them to keep their lies straight. But what we didn't know is that we kind of get a little hint while they're getting in the car when they meet up with Wes, that a couple of them have been using the Stanicky excuse on their own, because JT charged 3 rounds of golf to Ricky Stanicky, and we found out that Wes had did something. He had said he wanted.
Well, they were dating.
Oh, because he wanted, not even that part. He wanted to go get I think we get this later. He wanted to go get weed milk or something.
Hey, that's dream cream.
Yeah, dream cream.
He said they just feeding these cows marijuana.
Yeah.
And boom, you get dream cream. It's like you eating infused milk.
I guess. Yeah. So Wes and JT have been going off script, and using Stanicky excuses, which Dean said they weren't supposed to do. Ricky Stanicky is a 3-man job.
Operation, yeah.
It's a 3-man operation, so they all have their parts to play. But yeah, so they come back home, and so they're in the hospital, and JT is with his weird. He needs to have skin to skin contact with his child, so he's
That's
taking his shirt off.
Impressions,
yeah, that's how you bond.
That bond, you got to bond. That's something that National Geographic never printed.
I don't know. But Susan's mom was very skeptical because JT's mom said, well, we called every
hospital.
Because where did they say that he was?
Albany.
They say he was in Albany. They said they called every hospital.
Now, is this Albany, New York or Albany, Georgia?
I would imagine Albany. I don't know.
Depends.
Because if it was Albany, Georgia, that would give them, time to come fly back. But I mean, I guess they were working in like finance or whatever. They were making money, so just a last minute trip from wherever they were in the Northeast down to Albany, Georgia, I guess isn't out of the budget.
I guess. I mean, they were execs.
Yeah.
So I can see it.
Yeah, so they were like, yeah, we called every hospital in Albany, and there was no record of Ricky Stanicky.
See, that's what you should have said right there. Did you call Albany, Georgia, or Albany, New York? And whichever one you answered, well, we were in the other one. So
they didn't think that quick on their feet because Wes is about to.
I'm not a professional liar. I just stay at a Holiday Inn.
Right. Wes was about to let it all slip because his boyfriend or his partner, Keith, was like,
I'm not buying.
Because he said, oh, well, you said, oh, the cancer came back. He was like, oh, what kind of cancer? And Wes was like, anal cancer. It was like anal. And everyone's like, I thought it was testicular cancer. It was,
because he already lost one testicle.
Quick on the draw, he was like, yeah, it was testicular cancer, but then it spread to his anus. And then Wes was like, yeah, so they took it out. So he had it removed. It was like he removed his
anus?
His anus? And so they start like, what's really going on? Because y'all
right, because it was like, no, they just remove the outer rim.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Like, no. Clearly, y'all are full of shit right now. What happened? So instead of them coming clean, they lie again.
Well, Wes wanted to come clean.
Wes wanted to come clean because Wes had a guilty conscience.
Because Wes has been trying to come clean since childhood. He's been the one person that's like, we need to just tell the truth. And they're like, shut up.
Pretty much. But Wes has been sort of trying to figure out what it is that he's going to do because he's living with Keith, and Keith is like, look, you don't have a job. All you do is sit around the house all day. You need to do something productive with your life. Right.
Play games.
And so Wes wants to tell the truth, but of course they stop him. They don't let him. And they say, look, well, we lied. And so when they say, well, we lied.
Stanicky lied. He pulled a prank. He just wanted the guys to be there to celebrate the remission. Because the 5-year remission.
Because what Wes starts to say, well, he said that's well, it's not true. He said what did he say? We made it up, and then Dean kind of covered and said, well, Stanicky tricked us to say that he just wanted to celebrate with his friends because he was 6 years cancer free or whatever they came up with, and they took that. They were like, okay.
Did they? Because JT mother?
No, that was Susan's mom. Yeah,
Susan's mom. It's like she's not really.
No, she wasn't buying
none of it.
She's not buying it.
Like, and let's be honest, you missed the birth of your daughter,
right?
To go to Atlantic City,
and it was like, why were your phones off? He was like, oh, well, we went to a comedy show where they told us they had to, take our phones.
Yeah, this is a true thing because I have gone to a Chris Rock show. They take your phone. Kevin Hart takes your phone. And I don't care because I'm immersed into the concert itself. So I don't care about that. And if you call me during that time, I can call you back afterwards. It's only about a 2-hour set with the openers and everything. But again, that's not unheard of. You can have your phone going, but I'm pretty sure they've been calling for hours upon hours.
Oh, yeah. But they made their lie plausible enough to where they didn't question them anymore. So, to get back, baby's born. They're like, oh, well, we have to have the circumcision.
Mm-hmm.
And, but what we didn't cover is while they were in Atlantic City. They're all sitting at a bar after they watch the concert. They're
Of
ordering
course.
drinks.
Shot, shot,
Shot,
shot,
shot,
shot, shot,
shots.
shot, shot,
Shots
shot, shot.
to Ricky Stanicky.
Everybody,
To
the
Ricky
best
Stanicky.
friend we never
The
had.
best friend we've never
We
had.
never had.
And so this random guy just comes up. He comes to the bar. And he's like, "Yeah, let me get a drink." And your Christmas
Piggybacking off of their tab. They're trying to get drinks. He's trying to mooch in on their tab and order
Yeah.
some calamari and get some drinks going.
And the bartender is like, "Hey, get the fuck out of here.
Get out of here."
He's like, "You always do this shit." He's like, "Stop reloading off of people."
Right.
And you know,
inserting yourself on people's tabs.
He looks dejected, so Dean feels a little bit bad. So he's like, "Yeah, just buy him a drink." And then Rod, they find out his name is like, "Oh yeah, and the calamari," so he adds it and everything.
This is John Cena for those who don't know.
Yeah, so John Cena comes in. He's Rod Rimshod, Rod Rimstead. That's what his name
100% pornographic name.
Yeah. What was it?
Sound like a porn star.
Was it Hot Rod or something?
Something like that. Hot Rod was a lounge singer that sings
masturbation songs.
Masturbation
takes 80s rock songs and changes the lyrics to talk about masturbation. Now, I will say
he's in a genre by himself.
He is in a genre by himself. There's no competition in that genre.
Boom.
His lyrics were his lyrics were very innovative. They were very creative.
Before his time.
They meshed with the songs very well.
I can't wait till they release the soundtrack.
Oh, please, goddamn. But I would not put it past John Cena to make a whole album of, well, I don't know. I don't know if they'd be able to clear this. Well, I mean, they got the song, the covers of the songs in the movie, so maybe they would get it cleared.
I don't know. They got on CD. That cease and desist at the end
from Billy Idol.
Billy Idol's like, "Stop using my song for this nonsense."
It's like, so Billy Idol's heard my music.
That part. At least somebody in his camp did
something. But shout out to Nathan Jones for showing up in another. I ain't seen him in a minute.
Nathan Jones was who?
The tall, big dude.
I haven't seen him since Fury Road when he was drinking milk.
Yeah, used to be in WWE.
I love how Dean ran up.
Oh,
cleaned his clock. He's like, it didn't go the way you didn't go the way you thought it was gonna go, did you? He just laid him out.
The best way that could have been done. But
it looked like he hit your camera. Your camera fell.
Did it?
Yes. Well, there you go.
York.
My camera fell. Well, you know I'm not sober anyway, so.
But no,
like he stood up as long as he did.
But
that's all accurate.
So they meet Rod. He tells them about his performance. Well, not necessarily the alcoholism.
Well, he says he's an alcoholic.
Well, yeah, he does say he's an alcoholic. But so he's talking about what he does and everything. And JT is they're trying to leave so they can go and go have fun.
Well, not at that point. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, they're trying to go and enjoy themselves.
3-man party.
Yeah. And
not looking for a fourth.
So they're trying to be very subtle about it and not be, because Rod was about to insert himself. He was like, "Oh yeah, where are we going?" And they're like, "Well, it's just the three of us." And JT kind of like called him by a different name. I don't remember what he called him, but JT was just very pointed with them. It's like, "Hey, it's just a 3-guy thing," and so you go do you. And so Rod walks off all dejected. He grabs his plate of calamari.
He takes his shot.
Takes
calamari and he's out.
Wes and Dean are like, "Dude, that was kind of fucked up."
Yeah, like, unnecessarily.
Yeah. Man. And so Dean goes to apologize, and John Cena, the comedic actor he is, when he sees Dean, he covers his plate of calamari. He's like, "No, these are mine."
He clutches the calamari like, "Hey. You know what you agreed to."
Right. But so Dean apologizes, and Rod tells him, he's like, he's like, "Yeah, but I just want you guys to know that you're all assholes. Michael Jackson and, all of these other people that died, while under anesthesia." he was basically saying, you all are pieces of shit because you've killed him. He was like, what are you talking about? Like the anesthesiologist convention. Are you not here for that? And they're like, no.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, I still stand by what I said.
Yeah, goddamn right.
So Rod gives Dean his business card. He's like, hey, I'm an actor. You know, he tells him like everything that he does. And so Dean's like, okay, yeah, I'll hold on to it. You might be the most interesting business card that I ever get or something, or something to that effect. And so, of course, he takes out his phone because he's trying to get a picture of something, and that's when he sees it pop up. So they go back home. Baby's born, and since JT is Jewish, they have to get the baby circumcised, and they're scheduling a bris.
I say that wrong, sorry.
They say l'chaim when they do it, I think.
Well, I was saying the celebration.
I think that's what it is with the celebration. They say l'chaim.
Well, where did I get shalom from?
Shalom is like, I think that's a greeting.
Okay.
I don't know.
I'm not gonna butcher it anymore. But if I do, get those comments for shalom. No.
And so, since the lie now is that Ricky's cancer didn't come back and he's fine, well, we want him to come to the bris.
Of course you do.
We want him to show up. And they were like, oh, well, no, he can't. He's going out of the country to go do something. And when they say that, they were like, well, Wes just told us that he had an event over the weekend, so he's going to be in town. And so they look at Wes and it's like, dude, what the fuck?
Exactly.
Why? Why would you?
Because it's a one-man operation when you're using Ricky Stanicky by yourself.
Exactly. So they're scrambling.
The bros know what they're doing. Of course, Dean was like, we got it. We'll figure it out.
Yeah. So they're scrambling to figure out, they need to figure out what they can do to have a Stanicky stand-in, because of course Stanicky doesn't exist. So they offer some guy, he's an actor, and they were like, well, no, because that guy's dating Susan's cousin. They're like, oh, cousin It? That's fucked up that they call a girl cousin It just because she had long hair.
She had long hair.
But so they can't hire him, and so that gets Dean thinking, oh, an actor. I know an actor. Let me call Rod Rimstead, where he's just getting out. No, he had just got off the stage doing his Britney Spears. I don't even know what song he did as Britney Spears. One thing that we haven't mentioned about Rod is when he's doing these covers of these songs, he dresses up as the artist. He is committed
to the craft.
He was dressed up as Alice Cooper, Britney Spears.
What?
Boy George. Well, we see Boy George later on.
Did it again.
I mean, that's probably the song, and you can turn that into a masturbation anthem if you wanted to.
I just jerked it off.
We don't need to. But when
so concert tickets going on sale.
Oh my God. But so he goes backstage and the DJ is like, oh, those guys are back again. And so we see Nathan Jones and his other, cohort. They come in, black jackets.
Which we saw him earlier in the casinos. Stanicky had.
We saw him in the casino and he starts ducking them, and Dean is like, well, who are they? He was like, oh, some crazed fans that I've been trying to get away from. And so that's when he runs off. That's the end of the Dean and Rod interaction while they're in Atlantic City. But so Rod escapes through a window in the kitchen, and just to showcase his alcoholism, because he had a bottle of Jack Daniels in his hand, he escapes out the window, drops the bottle of Jack Daniels, and he's like in an alley. There was a cardboard box, I guess, where a homeless person was probably sleeping. And once he drops the bottle of Jack, he's literally licking the ground trying to
suck that up.
Trying to suck up the Jack Daniels.
They put that on barbecue, dude. You don't understand. You got to get that Jack Daniels. I mean, he took a shot of somebody else's drink while he was in the casino.
Yeah. And they didn't even drink the whole shot. He just like a sip of it and then sat it back down. And the dude was like, dude, what the fuck?
Hey, you could get another one. I'm out of here.
Right. I mean, you said no slot, so they bring you
Yeah,
free drinks
they'll
anyway.
bring you another one.
Yeah.
Calm
But
down.
so
It's Stanicky.
Dean calls Rod and he said, "Hey, we have a job. We have an acting gig." And so, of course, Rod plays it off. He's like, "Well, let me check my schedule." So he has to come to terms, with
This is it.
this is it. He's getting
This
his
is the
big break.
moment. Yeah.
And so we actually see a little bit of emotion from John Cena in this moment
Yeah, you
in
do.
his Britney Spears costume, the bra and everything,
I
which
didn't look
was
that far, but
a
I
bold
believe
choice.
it
I
was
mean, I could not
He's
see it.
committed.
He is
He's
committed.
committed.
Fucking committed. So
welcome to Arkham.
so we see in a trailer when they meet Ricky at the airport. He's detoxing. He's 3 days sober because
Yeah.
Stanicky's Stanicky's he was in the program, so he doesn't drink. So he's going cold turkey on the booze. He pisses himself in the airport. It's not what you think. It's just piss.
I don't understand how that happens. If you go in cold turkey, you don't lose your motor function. But
I mean, he was having withdrawals. They had to stick a wallet in his mouth so he didn't seize up or something.
Yeah, the leather calms him down.
Yeah,
that sounded so medical when he said that. The leather from the wallet is going to help him not have a seizure.
I don't know. But so in the midst of the next, like, I guess 40 minutes of the movie, they insert Rod in as Ricky Stanicky. So they talk to him. They're like, "Look, this is what we need you to do."
Bible.
They gave him the Bible. Rod studied up on everything, and so they're at the bris. They're ready to show up. Jeff Ross is there as the rabbi, which was a surprising cameo. Wasn't expecting that.
Ta-da!
And so he's making all of these fucking bad, corny jokes or whatever.
Yeah, I knew that tip joke was coming.
Yeah,
just a Jewish thing.
But
I don't know why they do that.
So Rod is getting cleaned up over at Wes's place. Wes didn't want to bring him over there because we didn't know why. But Wes is giving excuses like, "Oh, my towels are all crusty and all this other kind of stuff." But of course, they can't bring him to Dean's house. They can't bring him to JT's house because the bris is happening at JT's house. So he has to go to Wes. But we don't realize it's because Wes told Keith that he dated Ricky Stanicky, when he was coming out. And so we find out that Keith is threatened by Stanicky because, he I guess was Wes's first, male partner. So, going into that. And so they get Wes and we'll call him Ricky from now on because he preferred to go by Ricky. Anytime somebody called him Rod, he was like, "It's Ricky."
It's Ricky. He's committed. He's committed to the character. So you have to be one with Ricky.
Yeah. So Wes and Ricky starts talking, and Wes starts going on about how, he really doesn't feel like he has a point in all of this. And so Ricky's asking, "Well, what about, your writing?" So Wes tells him about this book that he's writing and everything. And then he tells
Wes the absolute truth. That sucks.
He does. But it was something else where Wes told him something, and he asked Ricky a question, and Ricky was able to answer it. He was like, "Dude, how do you know all of this?" He was like, "They sent me the Bible. I read it. I've studied it. I know everything up there is to know about Ricky." And so they get into the conversation, and when they find out that Wes told Keith that he and Ricky had dated, Ricky is like, "Well, you just fucked me up now because now you giving me more information that I didn't read up on. So if I get questioned about anything, I'm not prepared." So he's like, "Sit down, tell me everything. Where did we meet? What did we do? Did we, and he's like, "No, we just dated." And he was like, "Clearly I wasn't your type." But so Dean and JT are kind of sweating now because Ricky's supposed to show up. Ricky hasn't shown up yet. And so Susan's mom finally comes up. It's like, "Where's Ricky?" It's like, "Oh, no, he's on his way. He's just getting held up." So she's like, "No, just admit it. Ricky's not real. You guys have been pulling, this lie. Ricky doesn't exist." And while she's saying that, Ricky shows up.
walks through the door, dressed like the
Stanicky!
crocodile hunter himself.
And so credit to Ricky, every
And there
single
was no John
question.
Cena intro, just for
No,
those
there
who are
was no
curious.
John Cena. But credit to Ricky, every question that they asked him about Ricky's life, he was able to answer on the spot. I mean, embellish as much as he, could embellish or whatever details that weren't in the Bible, but he was on top of everything. And so, Summer Hayes, the boss, shows up, and we see this in the trailer. Stanicky calls him out on his hair plugs and everything. He's like, "No, this is my real hair," and he's like, "If that's your real hair, then." But so,
Right?
so Summer Hayes is kind of like, a little bit taken aback, and then they get into the conversation about their merger or their contract that they were trying to get.
Big one coming up.
And Stanicky gives like his input on what he think they should do, where it's brought up and they're kind of like, oh, well, he doesn't really know anything about it, but he, ends up giving a very compelling point to Summer Hayes, and Summer Hayes is like, okay,
Interesting.
Stanicky knows his shit. And so this whole time, Dean is trying to keep Ricky away from Susan's mom because she's ready to corner him.
She's ready to
and
drill him,
ask
all these questions,
and try to prove him out to be the fake that he is. And so they've been avoiding him this whole time, and she finally corners him because he was over talking to Keith. He was trying to, apologize to Keith and tell Keith that he didn't have anything to be threatened by and everything. And so Keith told Ricky, he was like, well, I'm about to break up with Wes anyway. And he was like, well, dude, why? And he's like, well, because he doesn't have a job. He's trying to do anything. He's not really applying himself to anything. So Ricky asked, well, what about the book? He didn't know he was writing a book because Wes kept it from him. So while Ricky is talking to Keith, mom comes up. Susan's mom is like, oh, Ricky, I'm finally glad I got to talk to you. I want to talk to you about the green leaves, a green hope, green river, or whatever the organization was called that he had supposedly been in Africa doing charity work with.
He does a lot of nonprofits.
Yeah. Right. And so she starts asking him questions. He starts to get flustered. He's kind of giving roundabout responses. He's like, yeah. She was like, well, what do you think of that mission statement? He was like, it's there. And so Dean tries to save him from the situation. And so Susan's mom starts to get very adamant. Just admit you're a fake. And so because Dean has his like, hey, Ricky, you want to go get some cheese puffs? And while he's trying to drag him away, that's when she says that. So he stops and he turns around. And so he just lays it on. He was like, well, you know why I think this, lays out all the details. And her face just drops. And the last thing he says, wonder where those cheese puffs got off to. And so he goes to walk away. And then Dean is like, you want a cheese puff?
Because you need something to close that.
Yeah, mouth. You need something to put in your mouth if you got.
Is all the wind was taken out yourself.
So she had.
But not only that, when Stanicky showed up, he apologized for having JT outside of the city and missed the birth of his daughter. So he's really coming through like a Stanicky would, mending fences, kind of taking the responsibility, and he's doing that well.
Yeah,
he's doing it well. He's kind of charismatic and charming and winning the crowd over. So for her to have come at that point in time, could have betrayed everything, could have unraveled everything, but the way JC took care of it, kind of politely, but still have some to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have got a cheese puff or shrimp puff or something.
Some
caviar.
Yeah.
Something.
So they all get inside and they're about to do the bris. They're about to have the circumcision. When they do that, Susan's cousins come in. And Ricky looks at him and was like, oh shit, I know that guy. And Dean is like, wait, what? You know him? She's like, yeah, I know that guy. And so Dean is like, okay, well, if he sees you, he's going to blow our cover. So Go upstairs, just hide out, and we'll try to get rid of him.
Mm-hmm.
So the cousin comes up. He's this annoying asshole type dude. He's all in his own
Extra
ego.
fries. Hell
he
yeah.
was in a Red Robin commercial.
Red Robin.
And so and they were like, okay, well, we got to get rid of him. And they're like, how can we get rid of him? He just got here. It was like, oh, well, what do you call him? A K-nap or something like that?
We're going to roofie him.
Basically, give him a ketamine pill, knock him out.
We're going to make him knocked out.
And then we'll get him out of here. And so they're like, okay, well, here's the plan. They go upstairs. They're playing, a little game.
Which, again, Wes didn't want to.
No, Dean didn't want to at first because it was Wes's idea.
Yeah.
And JT was all about it.
He had the drugs.
Just a blanket statement for everybody listening. These three guys are assholes.
In case you didn't know.
These three guys
are
horrible people.
You don't want them on your friend list at all.
And so they go upstairs. They're playing around. They're launching peanuts so JT can catch them. And so, of course, the cousin comes up. He's, got to prove a point. So he wants in. It's like, the game is you catch 3 in a row, then you get $20 from everybody. He's like, oh, bet. I'm down for that. Yeah. And so they're throwing peanuts. They throw the first 2. They get ready to throw the third one. Fucking rabbi. Why?
I don't know.
Just comes out of nowhere and intercepts the ketamine pill. And so they're like, oh, shit. We're fucked because he has to circumcise your son. Yeah. And he's going to be drugged. Yeah. So they're like, okay, well, we'll figure it out.
Cut off too much.
They cut off too much. And so they go back downstairs for the bris, and Ricky comes back down with the cousin. And he's like, I know where I know this guy from. I saw him in a Red Robin commercial. Right. And so Dean is like, so you mean to tell me that you two have never met before today? He's like, no. Never seen him a day in my life. So now they're really thinking that they're fucked. But Wes tells Dean that, the pill won't kick in for another half hour.
And got about 30 minutes.
Got 30 minutes. So the rabbi is trying to do the bris, and he's just delirious to where he almost like passes clean out. And he goes to cut the foreskin. He does it halfway, because this is a real big point of contention after this. He says the prayer, he blesses it, he gets ready to do it, he cuts it halfway, but he's like wobbling all over the place, passes out. And so he's out cold.
Yeah, this is true. Earlier I said it was a girl, but it was clearly a boy.
Yeah.
I apologize for that.
So you're like, well, what are we going to do now? We can't leave him half circumcised. JT's like, we'll take him to the hospital. And then somebody was like, oh, well, let Ricky do it. I think that JT's mom might have said, let Ricky do it. And they were like, oh, well, because you did all of this charity work. You worked, in Africa and all this other kind of stuff. You could do it.
Because that makes you qualify for this.
Yeah. And so Dean and JT were like, no, Ricky, don't do it. We're going to need to go to the hospital. Because Ricky came from the back. He was like, yeah, I can do it. Just nonchalant. And so they're trying to argue about taking, what was the child's name?
For this
video, Whitaker.
Let's call them
Whitaker. Okay. That was the baby's name, Whitaker.
Whitaker, because they were arguing about that name.
Yeah. So Whitaker's there, and they're arguing, no, we're going to bring him to the hospital, all this other kind of stuff. And behind everybody's back while they're arguing, Ricky's just like, done.
So Ricky took
Summer Hayes
cigars and a cigar cutter.
Oh yeah,
from
Summer Hayes.
Summer Hayes earlier, after he was talking about his hair plugs, and Summer Hayes tried to come for Ricky, and then Ricky tried to put Summer Hayes in his place. So he kind of take those as he walks off, and uses the cigar cutter to snip the rest of the foreskin off.
Yeah.
So as amazing as this is to everyone else, again, you got to think about JT, Dean, and Wes. You let this guy we don't know circumcise our child with a cigar cutter that's an alcoholic or recovering alcoholic that you met while you missed the birth of our son. So JT's like, we will never tell the truth about this.
Right.
But we got to get him out of here. He's
Yeah.
doing too much. He's
Yeah.
doing way
He's
too much.
being too likable. But he was being Ricky. That's what Ricky would do. The way that they created Ricky. This is the type of guy that Ricky is. He was being Ricky. So they try to get him out. They put him in a cab. And
we're done.
Yeah, he's like, look, we gave you some extra money because
killed it.
You went above and beyond.
Get out of here. Going to the airport. It's good to meet you. Hope to never see you again.
Right.
Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button on All Things Super. Leave a comment. You're good to go. Send him on his way.
And so while they're outside, the family was like, oh, well, where is he going? We would love for him to stay around. It was like, oh, well, Dean said, oh, well, he has to go to Nairobi to help deal with the Ebola outbreak.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, Nairobi. And he's like, yeah, Nairobi. Aaron's like, okay.
All right. I got you.
So everything's cool.
Black.
And
just going to throw that out there.
What was that?
I said Aaron's black. Just wanted to
Aaron is black.
Yeah. So,
and I thought they were married.
They weren't?
No, they got married at the end of the movie.
They got married at the end. Yeah.
I really thought they were married.
That part had no bearing on the movie whatsoever.
No, it didn't. And this, I think before this happened, we found out that Erin's a reporter, but she's been stuck on duck watch because there's this duck on the golf course sitting on a golf ball, and I don't know what news channel will literally have their reporter.
Ain't the Daily Bugle, I can tell you that.
Sitting there watching a duck on a golf ball, waiting for the duck to get up. So,
which Dean tries to encourage and send the little dog out there, Frank. Was it Frank?
I think so, yeah.
Frank got his ass whipped. Frank's on a leash. The duck grabs the leash and drags him out to the pond.
To the pond, starts to drown the dog.
He's playing with the wrong one, my guy. He's almost drowned.
I'm protecting this golf ball with my life. Are you prepared to do the same?
That was horrible. Dean had to run into the pond and save Frank, and then there's like, we going home.
Yeah.
Because she can't leave until the duck leaves.
Right. He wanted to go get lunch. She can't leave until the duck moves. So he was trying to get the duck to move. And so he was like, you know what? I'm just going to go. We'll get lunch later.
Duck went right back on the golf ball.
Yeah. Like nothing happened. So the boys think they have it made.
Yep. Stanicky's here.
To Ricky Stanicky, the best friend we've never had.
Never had him. Never had him, not once. But he came through one a day.
Yeah.
He's out of here. We
are good. But they say Stanicky's done. We're no longer using Stanicky as we became too close. We're not using him as an excuse anymore.
Hand in the pack. We're done. Last shot to the best friend we never had. Stanicky's out of here.
So Dean and JT go to work the next day. They're walking in the building. They get into a meeting with Summer Hayes. He's like, hey, I want to talk to you guys. And so Summer Hayes like, look, I want to talk to you about, Ricky, or I want to talk to you about Stanicky. I feel like, he was, whatever, he was like complimenting everything that Stanicky did.
He tells it straight.
Yeah.
Tells it like it is.
Tells it like it is, good or bad.
Called me on my hair plugs.
Yeah. And so Dean is like, yeah, he's a great guy and all this other kind of stuff. And somebody was like, yeah, that's why I decided to hire him. He was like, what the fuck did you just say?
What the fuck did you just say?
What the fuck did you just say? He was like, no, I said awesome.
I said awesome. And then you said something after that. What did you say? I hired Stanicky. Like the facial expressions on these dudes, like, what?
Like,
you said I almost missed him too. He was on his way to the airport.
Yeah, I called him right before he was about to take off. And I'll say this. One of my biggest complaints about the movie
Let it out.
We watched the trailer and everything. We cracked up at the trailer.
Yes, we did.
But I feel like this movie suffered from what a lot of movies suffer from, and is that they put the best parts in the trailer. So I've already seen all of these jokes and everything. And so I think there was only like maybe 2 parts of the movie that like really made me laugh that I hadn't already seen in the trailer.
Let me guess, Spider. It was Ricky Stanicky.
No.
No, okay. Let's just
But this was one of them. The what the fuck did you just say? What the fuck did you
that
just
part
say?
was
That
funny.
was one of them. That one made me laugh. But so they get up, they see Stanicky coming down the hallway. He's
There he
hired.
is.
He's hired to the point where he already has his own office.
I don't know when he did his paperwork. Maybe they
He
sent it
said that
over.
he said that they got together in the middle of the night and they hammered it all out.
Mm. So now he's dressed to the nine in the suit, picking out the colors for his office,
He
picking
wants
out
his
the
walls.
wood.
He picking out the wood. Said this. He's like, this is whatever he called the wood. He said, this is shit wood. I want this other type of wood. And he was like, I also want the wall to be ham colored.
Ham, spam, baby. Just have to have this certain type of pink. But here's what's really got him mad. Stanicky makes more than they do.
Right. Stanicky
is an executive making more than what they do. Like, what? Like, how this dude come in here making, you ever seen somebody that just fails up?
Yeah.
And it's annoying. Like, how is he getting this? He's Stanicky.
Yeah. And so since everybody found out that, because I'm trying to remember when they had the confrontation in the supply closet, if it was before they had the board meeting or after they had the board meeting.
This was before they had the board meeting. Because remember, getting all this information, Ricky is now a liability. He can unravel everything. Again, JT doesn't want his wife to find out anything about Ricky. I missed my son's birth. I had the stranger cut our son with cigar cut. Like, I can't let this come to light. And Dean's fiance is now going to do a story on Stanicky as the
showed
hero.
Up at the office and told Dean that he has
the duck move.
She got the not even what was it that the duck move?
Yeah, the duck move.
Oh, well, she said that she got assigned the Hero of the Week segment because she told her producers about Ricky and all the stuff that he's done. It was like, we want to do a Hero of the Week profile on Ricky Stanicky. So Dean is like,
he knows that his wife or fiance is a great journalist,
right?
So if she does research
everything,
then like she probably won't find anything, and that's what the guys are telling him. But it's like, that's even worse, that she won't find anything.
Exactly, because she's gonna look up Ricky Stanicky and nothing's gonna come up because Ricky Stanicky doesn't exist.
Whew.
So he
the
pulls.
Tension now, Friday, it hits the fan. We got to get Stanicky out.
Yeah, we got to get Stanicky out of here. He pulls Ricky in the supply closet. Ricky shows Dean his new ID, and he's like, it says Ricky Stanicky, and it's a picture of him. He was like, where did you get this? He was like, I legally changed my name, had them overnight it. So he's officially Ricky Stanicky. And so Dean is pissed. He's like, no, you are not Ricky. Your name is Rod. Because he called him Rod. He was like, it's Ricky. He's like, no, it's Rod. And so he's like, you don't understand. You are made up. We created you. And now you're going to make our lives living hell because they're going to find out everything. And and so I think Dean said something about to the effect of like, oh, this is all be your fault. And so Ricky was like, well, technically it is all your fault because you're the one that lied.
Yeah.
And Dean had to take a step back. He was like, you know what? That's very true. Very true. But, you know, the whole point of it is that Erin's going to do a Hero of the Week segment on you and she's going to find out everything. True. And Ricky basically, you know, tells him, he's like, look, I had a shit life. Oh, because in Atlantic City, he tells them the reason that they kept him around because he said he could do impressions. And so he did an impression of, I forget who he did an impression of. And so they were like, oh, that was pretty good. And then he was like, oh, I have another one for you, an oldie but a goodie. And he starts impersonating his mom, who said that she got pregnant with him because his dad jizzed on her back and then it went like down her ass inside of her. So he was a shit baby.
Had a little shit baby.
And he was always going to be a shit baby. So he breaks down to Dean, basically saying my life is shit. I've always been just a shit baby. Never had anything going for me. Had no job, no friends.
Then I
But
met you
then I
guys.
met you
Yeah.
guys. You guys are awesome. He's like, even though I'm playing this persona, he's like, this gave me a life. This gave me
You
purpose.
purpose.
You
Yeah. You
you
tried
you gave
out.
me Ricky, and this showed me that there's more that I can do with my life.
There you go.
And we get the
Stanicky.
emotional beat from Ricky, and John Cena's tearing up because I was watching him because I was like, this is supposed to be the heartfelt moment of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like,
Mm-hmm.
can John Cena cry?
Can he drop that one tear like Will Smith did in I Am Legend?
I don't think he dropped a tear, but he definitely the eyes were welling up. I don't think
There you
they
go.
I don't think
See?
the tear fell, but we
Can't
saw
you
the
can't give
emotion.
it all to you. Can't give it all to you
Saw
in
the
one movie.
emotion. But Dean is like, look, you know what? I got to tell Erin the truth because it's just over now, and I'm
Yes.
gonna lose her. She was the best. She's the best thing that ever happened to me, and I was the luckiest man. He's saying how much he loves her and everything, and now how he's gonna lose her because he fucked
Mm-hmm.
everything up. And so they invite Ricky out to bowling because since Erin came by the office, she knows that Ricky is still in town, that
Yes.
Ricky didn't leave. So
Yes.
they invite him
Because
out to
she was
bowling.
telling him, you got to get Ricky back here. You got to get him back because
Right.
I don't know. I read to the producers
Yeah,
about him,
because
and he's like, I can't because this day's been so crazy, and that's when she sees him walk by.
yeah. And so they go bowling. Ricky starts talking to the cousin. I forget the cousin's name. Because
Let's
I
just.
don't want to call her
You don't
cousin
want to
it.
call.
I
You
don't
don't
want to
want to
call
call
her
her
cousin it.
Rapunzel.
I'll call her Rapunzel. Yeah, I'll call her
There you
Rapunzel.
go.
Because Leona was no, Leona was JT, and I'm looking at the cast list. Yeah, we'll call her Rapunzel because I don't think
Okay.
her name is on here. But so they're
Rapunzel comes
talking.
in with this long hair.
Yeah, she's got this long hair and everything, and she's
It
just
does
kind of
not hit
playing
the
with it.
floor, but it does go past her butt.
Yeah, and so Ricky is just basically complimenting her in his own unique way, saying that she has a weasel face, but that her hair is blocking her face. He's not saying it to insult her, but he's basically saying that
Cut that
when
shit
people
off.
look at you, all they see is your hair. They don't see
Mm.
you for who you are.
Mm.
But she gets up thinking that he's basically think that he's making fun of her, and he's like, well, no. He's like, look, if you want to cut your hair, then by all means cut your hair, but at the end of the
Yeah, she
day.
says she wanted to cut it, but people are giving her compliments
Oh
and
yeah, they're saying that how much they
admiring her
love her.
hair because she has very long hair. It's very long hair, but like Ricky said, it's taken away from all the other qualities and traits that you have because everyone's just fixated on your hair.
But not only that, but like in his own direct way, when she said that, he was like, oh, they're just being nice to you. And she was like, what,
Yeah,
really? He's like, oh
yeah,
yeah, they're just being nice to you in your face because they don't want to tell you how they actually feel. And be that as it may, it's a crass way to go about saying it. Being
definitely.
honest.
Been around JT Dean and West. You know how to be an asshole at this point.
Yeah. But being honest, but in a very mean and direct way. But so he tells her, if you want to cut your hair, cut your hair. Because you say, you were thinking about it, but don't worry about what people think about you. You do what makes you happy.
Facts.
And so
And that's for everyone.
did he throw her hair into the ball return, or did it just get caught?
I would have to go back and watch it again. From what they showed, she was kind of standing up. Went over there. They were talking, and next thing you know,
the hair gets sucked into the ball return.
Finish her. She just get yanked back, which is crazy because ball returns don't work that way.
Well, I mean, there are like
there's no suction in it.
No, there's no suction, but there are wheels that return the ball up the chute. So if her hair went all the way in it, got caught under the wheel that was going back.
This is true. This is very true. The way she got yanked.
Yeah. And so one ball comes in. She was there. Everybody's screaming and hollering. Hits her in the head. The other ball comes in. Then the dude gets up and he's about to go bowl again.
Yeah.
He's about to throw the ball. And then I think it was Susan was like, "Stop bowling!
Stop bowling! All you're doing is getting return balls to the head." Oh, it's horrible.
Oh,
but Ricky saved the day. Ricky pulled the cover off, hit the emergency stop.
Yeah.
I actually thought they were gonna cut her hair.
Yeah, I thought they were gonna have to cut her hair too. But she came out. She still had all her hair.
There you go. There you go. Ricky saves it.
Ricky saves the day again. Stanicky saved the day.
He had already saved the circumcision. Now he's saving the hair. He knows when to cut and when not to cut.
Yeah. And so they Dean and JT go back to work the next day and they're like, look, if we can't get rid of him,
we got to get him fired.
Because
that's the only thing that he's standing for, right?
Right. Because he's standing for the money.
Check.
So they was like,
right.
Well, whatever we got to do, I'll take out a loan, I'll mortgage my house, I'll do what I have to do. We got to get the money to get him out of here.
Yeah, because they were thinking about, let's just pay him his whole annual salary so he can go.
Right. But so they say,
over 6 figures.
Well, instead of us paying him to get rid of him, let's just get him fired. Then he'll have no choice but to leave. So they go about their plan to try to get Stanicky fired. They go into a board meeting. They're talking about the contract that they're trying to land and what they can do differently so they can make sure that they get it. And so since Dean's the lead on the contract, Summer Hayes is like, Dean, tell me your ideas. And Dean is like, well, you know what? I think Ricky has a really great point on this. So I think he should be the lead. And so
pass it to him.
So Summer Hayes, because Dean knows that he doesn't know anything about.
He doesn't even know what they do.
No, he doesn't. He thinks they're bookies, but like legal bookies that's not going to kill people. But JT was like, I mean, yeah, that is kind of what we do. In a sense.
Yeah.
But so Summer Hayes is like, look, I have, I got 23 minutes before I go to lunch. So, give me an idea. Tell me something. And so Ricky comes up with the idea. He's like, maybe we should give our money away. And all the board members start laughing.
Of course.
And he's like, of course that's not something that we want to do. And so while Ricky's saying that, the two guys sitting across from him, one of them named Billings, but so they start, kind of basically shooting down Ricky's idea. But Summer Hayes is like, well, no, let's think about this. So he said, think about Tom's shoes. Donate a pair of shoes for every pair of shoes that's purchased. And so he was like, how much did they clear last year? And it was like some hundreds of millions of dollars. So he was like, not bad. So he's like, what if we take a portion of our profits, put it into some, because Ricky said, does a for-profit have to necessarily be for profit? And Billings was like, well, that's pretty much the point, son. And so Summer Hayes kind of explains it. He was like, no, that's actually a good idea. He was like, all right, Ricky, this is your your contract now. This is yours, so you can handle it. So Ricky is about to sit down and he looks at Billings and goes, fuck you. And so he sits down and Summer Hayes is like, what was that? And so I'm thinking Ricky was like, oh, no, nothing. And then go about his business. He was like, oh, no, nothing. I just said, fuck you to that guy. And so Summer Hayes stops. He looks, yeah, fuck you, Billings. And that's the second part that made me laugh. Because I wasn't expecting it. He was like, yeah, fuck you, Billings.
Not really, but yeah, fuck
like,
you.
Not really. I was just kidding. But yeah, fuck you, Billings. I was like, damn.
Billings had nothing to say.
But
it's Stanicky.
It's Stanicky. It's the Stanicky way. But so Dean and JT is like, well, shit. Well, what can we do? Because we tried to set him up and he's still not getting fired.
He's failing up. Because he goes to Dean afterwards. He's
that's like, that's when they're in the closet, because he's like, hey, I want to get your advice.
Yeah, because I don't know what I'm doing.
I don't know what I'm doing. He was like, I appreciate you, throwing it to me, because I would have never been able to do that if you didn't throw me to the fire. Right. And he was like, no, we're trying to get you to get the fuck out of here.
You're overdone. You're
Yeah,
overdone.
you're
You're
over, you're
done.
done.
You're overdone.
Yeah.
And
And
that's when
so,
he confesses about the hero of the week story or
yeah,
hero of the whatever story. And you know, Dean takes ownership at that point in time and he thinks he's gonna have to tell his wife everything. But at that point, as the great J. Cole says, she knows.
yeah, I know she
She
knows.
knows.
Well,
Well, he
Dean
didn't know.
didn't.
He
He didn't
didn't
know
know
she
she
know.
didn't know.
He didn't know she knew. But we also Ricky hired Wes as his attaché,
Look at that.
and Wes was like, "My other friends never gave me a job."
No, no, not at all.
I
Ricky
didn't.
looking out.
I didn't even know Ricky had the power to be able to hire an attaché
Well,
because
he's
he.
an executive.
I guess. but Dean and JT were like, we don't even have attachés.
Hey, y'all doing it wrong.
Apparently. But
Ricky will show
so
y'all how to do it.
they Summer Hayes calls Dean and JT because they're like, we need to do something. How are we gonna figure this out? We gotta something. So Summer Hayes calls Dean in the office because they're thinking that Summer Hayes is pissed at something that Ricky did. And so they get into the office, and then so we see, also we saw this in the trailer, he's air dicking. Every time he tries to make a point,
oh my goodness,
his hands make it look like he's jerking off dicks. And so they go through all of that, and so he sees it, and he's like, why did none of you tell me about this? And so he was saying that's probably why they haven't gotten a contract, because nobody can take him seriously. And so that's when, Dean, and this was before the conversation in the closet, because Summer Hayes made Ricky Dean's boss. So he said, well, you answer to Ricky now. So they leave, and they end up, where did Dean end up? Because, he went to the bar and he was drinking with Wes, and Wes was telling him, he was like, this is your own fault. And so Dean was like, well, what do you mean? He was like, because you're a liar. You lie too much. And he was like, well, you've been lying too. He was like, yeah, because y'all made me lie.
Y'all make me. Yeah, y'all make me lie.
And so he's like, you've been lying since that Halloween night, because they say that they give a little bit of backstory when they're going trick-or-treating, was that they were doing something else. I forget what they were doing, ding dong ditch or something. And they were running, and they all went 3 separate ways. And Dean had broke his arm. And so the excuse was that Dean broke his arm because he fell when they were running. But so Wes said, I went back to your house that night to make sure that you were okay. And I heard him. Now, we'd never gotten any backstory about Dean. We didn't know what kind of childhood he had growing up, but we found out that Dean had an abusive father. So in order for people to not pay attention to that, and he not to draw attention to that, and him to kind of escape all of that, he started to lie. And so one lie became another lie, and that's who he is. He's a liar. He lies about things. And so Dean is like, you know what? I didn't come here to be shit on. You're not making anything better. I'm going home.
Yeah, this is not a therapy session, little bitch.
So Dean goes home. Erin's not there. And so he's in the living room. She comes home. The next morning, he was like, I waited all night for you. I waited up. I was worried. What happened? Where were you? And so Erin basically says she knows. She knows about Ricky. She's been known about Ricky.
Everything.
She's basically said, oh, I did research on Ricky for the Hero of the Week. And you know what I found? I found fucking Rod Ramstead. And so she said, I knew since the bris that you had been lying. And she said that you said that he was going to Nairobi to go help with the Ebola virus. She said, there hasn't been an Ebola outbreak for years, and especially not in Nairobi.
What?
So she's like, clearly you were lying.
Sense.
And so he tells her, this is how long we've been doing it. And so she's like said something, and he was like, yeah, that's when we went to Dollywood. And she was like,
you went to Dollywood twice.
Right. He's like,
she was like, why you didn't take me?
I love Dollywood. She's like, I love Dolly Parton. And so she said, you know what? It's not even the fact that you lied about all of this. It's the fact that you felt you needed to.
To me.
Right, because you wanted to get away from me. Which, I mean, is true. Because he really seemed like he loved her, and he said that he loved her and how much she meant to him, but clearly not that much to where you feel like you have to lie so you can sneak and get away with your boys. But so
that's a whole nother video. That's a relationship breakdown video right there.
Right.
Analyze that shit.
So they have the big presentation because they're going to have the presentation over.
Got to do the thing.
Because is it at Summer Hayes' place or is it just at a
I think it was at Summer Hayes' place. Nonchalant.
Because they were gonna
at a location.
They were gonna talk about the contract and they were gonna watch the Hero of the Week segment for Ricky,
which was supposed to push it over the edge,
right?
Because they were trying to use this Hero of the Week segment as a bargaining chip to say this is the company that you want to partner with and do things with. Look at this. We got Ricky Stanicky. He's the Hero of the Week.
He does all of this charity work. We are all about charity.
He does his own stunts, He's that guy. He's Tom Cruise in it.
Because Ricky's whole plan was, your firm or your agency or whatever you are old money, you're old, you were set in your ways. These guys are new, they're hip, they have all of these innovative, groundbreaking ideas. So they don't know if they want to necessarily work with you because they don't want you to bring them down. So you have to change up what it that you're doing. So that's what Summer Hayes was pushing. So we don't get to see Ricky. Ricky doesn't show up. And so Summer Hayes is looking for Ricky. Dean shows up late because he's in the car just kind of contemplating everything that just happened because he has to tell the truth now. It's gone too far. Things have gotten out of hand. He has to reveal the truth to everyone. And so he goes into the event. Summer Hayes can't find Ricky, so he's like, look, you're going to have to start us off before we get to Hero of the Week segment. And so he's like, well, there's not going to be any Hero of the Week segment. They're not going to run it because Erin told Dean that she had it pulled because Ricky wasn't real. And so he's explaining to everybody, he made up Ricky.
That he made it up.
Everything about him, why he did it, all this other kind of stuff. And he's telling the new company, hey, look, don't let my actions, sully the reputation of the company. They had no idea about it and everything. So, and he goes to walk off and Summer Hayes comes up. He's like, don't worry about going to the office and boxing your stuff. We'll box it for you.
We'll box it
then burn it.
And then burn it. You are horrible. You are an asshole.
So,
excuse me.
Effectively, Dean is fired. And which he knew was going to happen because,
of course.
And so
I
think Dean was leaving, and the Hero of the Week segment comes on, and it's about Ricky. Because Dean tells Wes that the Hero of the Week segment wasn't happening, and he was like, "It's not." He was like, "No." Erin pulled it. He was like, "Well, why were there all the cameras in the office last week?" And so he doesn't think anything of it. And so he leaves. So the Hero of the Week segment comes on. It plays. Wes brings Dean back inside because the Hero of the Week segment paints Ricky as the person that he is. He's actually Rod Ramstead. They say Ricky Stanicky doesn't exist. And so instead of this being a story about a very
washed up
about it being this caring, charitable person who's worked with all of these different organizations and everything. It's actually this lounge singer who makes masturbation songs, who, for whatever reason, serenaded two dogs having sex, and they decided that they wanted to show that in the package. First of all, where did they get the footage to show that in the package?
Clearly, Ricky had this on his flash drive that he never leaves home.
Probably his greatest hits.
Of course, it's Ricky.
But they showed it for way too long. They held on that scene for way too long. But they so basically it's a story of redemption, about second chances.
Yeah.
Because this down on his luck alcoholic, drug user,
it was dark.
Can find new inspiration, new hope just by having people who believe it.
There you go.
So that's what made Ricky Stanicky the hero. Now
Such a such a
he's legally Ricky now
yeah.
because he changed his name to Ricky, so he's legally Ricky
Yeah,
now.
yeah. Birth certificate is on its way, I guess.
Something I
I
don't
don't
know,
know. I
but
don't know.
so the corporation is like, hey, this is this kind of stuff that we like. You know, this is what we want to see. We're all about second chances. We're all about redemption. So we love to work with you guys. And so Summer Hayes is like, hey, Dean, do you think that's a good idea? And Dean was like, yeah.
Yes.
And so he's like, yeah. So they get into the partnership. They get the contract signed. So
They get the contract.
Dean has his job back. And
Yay!
so Aaron's at the bar, and so he goes to talk to you. He's like, I thought you had
Segment pull.
the segment pulled. And she was like, well, I told you that because I was mad at you.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's like, well, then I thought about it, and told the producers about everything that it actually was, and they thought it was a good idea to spin it this way.
Mm-hmm.
And she also had a recording because apparently Ricky was recording.
Well, Ricky was scared. You get pulled in that supply closet, you don't know what's about to happen.
He
so
did cower in fear, which was a very jarring thing to see John Cena like scared.
Yeah, Stanicky.
Because Dean threw him on the ground, and well, no, because Dean threw him up against the shelves, and Ricky went behind him, like tried to pull him in like a chokehold and wrap his legs around him. And so when Dean got free, he like ifed at him, and Ricky was like, ah. But I guess at some point during that, he started recording on his phone. And so everything that Dean said about Erin, how much he loved her, how he felt about her, how much she meant to him, it all got recorded.
He gonna lose her, and
yeah, how he's gonna lose her. He knows that he's gonna lose her, but he needs to be honest and tell the truth. And so she was like, well, I didn't know you felt that way. And so he was like, well, do you ever think you can forgive me? And she's like, well, it'll take some work. It'll be hard.
Which I think is the most honest answer anybody could get if they're committed to that.
Clearly she loves him.
Yeah, but he's an habitual liar.
Yeah. And to just again go to show you how much these guys are assholes. And JT is kind of one of the biggest ones. They I think when they all get back together, JT was like, I thought the Hero of the Week segment got pulled. And she was like, well, no, Aaron lied, kind of to prove a point. It was like, she lied to us? Well, that's kind of fucked up. And I'm they look at him, like, what the fuck, are you serious?
You've been lying for years. What are you talking about? The betrayal. I'm never talking to Aaron again.
Right. He's like so hurt.
Hilarious.
But all's well that ends well.
Yeah, because Ricky's back, and him and Rapunzel are together now.
Yeah. And they're dancing, and he's like, yeah, I'm gonna go dance with my fiance. And it was like, are you serious? He was like, well, you never know.
He felling up, baby. Yeah. And then Rapunzel does the unthinkable. She cuts her hair.
Oh, before we get to that,
they made like three wigs out of that thing.
They did. But so they're celebrating whatever, and so all the three guys at the bar, Ricky comes up, he asks for cranberry juice because again, he's not drinking. Asks for a cranberry juice now. And your crispy as calamari. And so he tells them, he's like, I gotta thank you guys, and they're like, well, we gotta thank you because if it wasn't for you, all this wouldn't happen and everything. He was like, yeah, so we'll all get together tomorrow when we go cleaning up, whatever river or whatever. And they're like, oh, hi, like,
we're not about to do that.
Yeah, he's
yes,
like,
you are.
No, I'm serious. That's what we're gonna do tomorrow. And they're like, oh, okay. And then Ricky goes dancing. Because
remember, Ricky is the boss now.
Yeah, Ricky's the boss now, and Ricky is an environmentalist. When they picked him up from the airport and he was riding in the car, he was like, is this what we're gonna go to the bris in? Because if they see me pull up in this, they're already gonna know that I'm a fraud. And he was like, well, and this is again JT being an asshole. He was like, what are you talking about? He was like, Ricky hates like carbon emissions, and like he would drive an electric vehicle or take public transportation or bike or something. And Wes just kept saying, it's like, yeah, that was in the Bible. And every time JT is like, JT or Dean, it was like, dude, what the fuck are you talking about? Because they just want him to just all you got to do is just say you're Ricky and shut up. And he was like, no, this is my motivation. This is my background with this, with this, with that. And
Mm-hmm.
Wes was like, because he read the Bible, that would be what Ricky did.
What JC? We wrote the Bible.
We wrote the
We
Bible,
wrote the
but
fucking
apparently
Bible.
you didn't read it well enough.
Uh-uh.
But so in the end credits, we get the snapshots of them cleaning up the river. We see Rapunzel getting her hair cut and making it into wigs. They're visiting
That
the
was awesome. That
special
was
need
awesome. They
kids in the
made it into
hospital.
wigs and brought those wigs to cancer kids in the hospital
Yeah,
that didn't have hair and special needs was there to encourage them. I was like, yeah, Ricky,
yeah, and then
Stanicky.
and then what's funny because when Dean and Aaron got married, Ricky was in the bridal party.
I was so focused on Dean and Aaron getting married, I didn't see where I knew Stanicky was there, but I
Yeah,
didn't see.
so they got married at Dollywood. So
Right.
Aaron finally got to go to Dollywood, but it was Dean, it was JT and Wes, and then it was Aaron, it was Susan and Stanicky.
Was he in the Britney Spears outfit again?
No, he was in the
I
suit.
missed it.
He was in the suit.
Okay. Well, it's Stanicky. So
It's Stanicky.
you gotta chalk it up to that.
Yeah.
Spider, I have to ask.
Stanicky.
That's the whole movie. So I gotta ask you the question after that. Was it Stanicky Super?
The Stanicky
Was
Super?
Ricky Stanicky on Amazon Prime Videos? Analyze that shit. Is it super?
I don't think it was super.
Damn.
I like I said, had I not seen the trailer beforehand and went into it not knowing anything about the movie, I think that might have changed my opinion of it. But having all the hardest hitting jokes in the trailer just kind of deflated the comedy of it, because I knew it was coming. And so there are some movies where you can see a funny scene or an action scene in the trailer, and you're like, oh, that's awesome, that makes me want to go see the movie. And then when you get in the movie, it's still just as funny. Running. There's no what?
There's no Hulk running in the battle of Wakanda.
Yeah, well, that's just a lie in a trailer.
But
and that wasn't a shot that made me want to go see Infinity War. I can tell you that right now. But there are some movies where you can see stuff in the trailer and then you go see it in the movie and it still hits just as hard, it's just as good. But for Ricky Stanicky, it didn't for me. And so it really took a lot out of the movie for me, to the point to where it's like, I don't think that I could see myself sitting down to watch it. It doesn't have a rewatchability factor. Everything that happened, it happened, and I'm like, okay, cool. I'm done with Ricky Stanicky. It was a good movie. It was a good movie. I think that people should watch it. Yes, I do think that people should watch it. It is good. It is funny. If you haven't seen a trailer and you get to this point, we already explained the whole movie, but still watch it, because it's about the delivery. It's about the performance of it. And to see John Cena in all of these different outfits, singing all of these different songs and inserting masturbation lyrics in them, that's worth the price of seeing it alone.
That's horrible.
But no, shout out to John Cena, because I know that he has been since the Marine and 12 Rounds, I know he hasn't really done a lot of leading man roles in the movies that he's been in. He's been a side character in Argyle. He was a side character. He was barely in the movie.
Blockers.
Cock Blockers. Yeah, and he does these wacky comedies. He did Cock Blockers. He did Vacation Friends, or whatever
with Lil Rel and Amon Orgy.
Yeah, and he did that one. I think there's a sequel to that one coming out too.
They have it already out.
Oh, is it out already?
Yeah, it's out already.
Well then, but yeah, so he does these.
I don't know when they're seeing this video, so I don't know.
Yeah. So it's probably already out. But no, he does these very high energy, kind of slapstick type roles. And I mean, even in Peacemaker, it was kind of like that too. But I think that his role in Peacemaker gave him a lot more depth, because he had a character that he could actually get fleshed out.
There
because
you
we
go.
saw him in the Suicide Squad, and so we see that he's kind of one dimensional. He, wants to achieve peace by any means necessary, even if that
No
means
matter
killing people.
no matter how many man, women, or child he has to kill to achieve it.
Exactly.
But it's peace.
And
Is it?
so, right, is that really peace? And so in the show, we get to see like more of his backstory, where he comes from, how he was brought up, why he is the way that he is. And I think that did lend a lot into this role, because outside of, Rod Ramstead and him being, this lounge singer and doing all this wacky stuff in these costumes and everything, while he's Ricky, he delivers a lot of very intellectually thought out um statements, and he kind of goes
Mm-hmm.
about it in a very smart way. And then when we get that scene in the closet, we get to see that emotional side of John Cena. So we're getting a wide range of John Cena's acting abilities in this movie, because we're getting slapstick funny with the
Mm-hmm.
with the calamari, with him, falling out the window and trying to lick the Jack Daniels up off the ground. We get
JD, baby, yeah.
and I love, because everything that Ricky says, he says he's committed. This is, he dives into a role. When he's portraying a role, he goes into it. Because when he was dressed up as Britney Spears and he was answering the phone, when his phone is ringing, he takes the hair and he like pushes
You
it
have
back so
to.
he could
Gotta
so he
gotta
could put
flip
his
it.
phone to his ear. So he's like, well, let me check my schedule while he's taking it in. And then he composes himself before he gets back on the phone. So he fixes his hair a little bit and then he get back on the phone. It looks like I'm free.
Mm.
So definitely shout out to John Cena. I think this is probably one of his best roles that he's like played in. Just because, like I said, of that range, we have the slapstick comedy all the way into the dramatic portion about everything. You can be serious, you can be very direct, you can be helpful, you can be, compassionate when you're talking and repelling her. You want to cut your hair, but don't do it because I'm saying that you should cut it. Don't leave it
Right.
long because they're saying you should leave it long. You should do
Mm-hmm.
that you want to do. So no, definitely it's a good movie. It's worth watching, but I think it's a one and done type thing. And
No, don't say that. They can come back with a Stanicky part two,
well,
baby.
I'm saying as far as watching this one, I watched it once and I'm like, okay,
Oh.
I've seen it once and that's all I
Mm.
really need to. I don't really need to watch it again. But
Mm.
no, I don't really. I wouldn't call it super. Call it super.
Damn. Well, we know already if you go past the sun, way past the sun, somewhere out there in the universe is where, spider standards are for exceptional super movies. Way like another galaxy far, far away. And Ricky Stanicky is out there in that far, 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 far away galaxy.
Oh, her name was Carly
You know
Rapunzel.
what? There you go. Shout out to the character or the actress. Both.
But Mr. VIP Frank Washington, when it
Yes,
comes
sir.
to John Cena's Ricky Stanicky, starring Zac Efron and William H Macy, was it super?
Great question.
That's why I asked it.
Yeah, it's a great show. It's a great show. I love our show. Uh, for the people that did not see the trailer breakdown that we did, that was an
Nobody
awesome
saw
trailer. That was
it.
an awesome trailer breakdown too. Um, I think it's only fair for us to do what we do, give our honest opinion. Stanicky was not super. No, no, not by a long shot. But if you decide to turn your brain off, get you some popcorn, and sit back and have one of those good laugh at this shows, it could be that. It's not a bad movie by far.
Mm-mm.
There's way worse movies that we've saw
Oh
and
yes, absolutely.
broke down and reviewed on this show. It just doesn't hit that super plateau. And I don't want to diminish the super plateau by adding this to that category because it's already diminished by movies. And
I mean, you're the only one that said Morbius was super.
I tried to be the light in the dark for the people that needed to see a way out the theater, like Usher.
Oh,
I wanted to be an Usher. Yeah, this
oh.
way.
There's
Listen,
nothing about that
there's
movie
some
that made it
redeemable
super.
qualities in Morbius, but
Name one.
the special effects that were shady and spotty in areas, the inconsistency of the special effects,
That's not a shining moment.
the fact that we couldn't get the main character name right, kept calling him Milo. Oh, none of this? No.
No.
The fact that there was no Spider-Man in a Spider-Man movie, that none of that.
No, none of it.
We have a better
They had
concept of
Spider-Man in the
super.
trailer, wasn't in the movie.
Again, there you go. You either put it all in the trailer or you don't get people to watch the movie. Because the trailer was cut nice. The trailer was good. We actually had a great time reviewing the trailer.
The Ricky Stanicky trailer it was hilarious, and that would made me want to watch the movie. So the trailer achieved its job. It drew the attention and it brought people in. But when
The
you
movie
don't have
itself,
anything beyond that,
it's not super. It's worth watching. If you guys are thinking about going to Amazon Prime, because you should have it already for all those other shows that we mentioned, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Invincible, The
The
Boys,
Boys, Gen V,
Gen V, and a bunch of other shows that's on there. You should have the subscription. Go ahead and add Ricky to the list. Just get you some popcorn or some candy and watch Ricky Stanicky. And if you like it, come back and say, Mr. VIP, Frankie Washington, and Spider, I don't agree with you guys. This movie is super, and it's okay.
It's okay.
But
Let us know in the comments if you thought it was
we're gonna
super.
make sure we delete you or block you. No, I'm just
Wow.
joking.
You disagree with us?
How dare you? No, I'm joking. It's worth watching. It's worth watching. It just doesn't hit that tier of super movies. Not superhero, but just a super movie that hits all those boxes that make you want to rewatch it. And like you said, after the trailer, you're looking for stuff that's not in the trailer. Don't put all your best bits in the trailer,
right?
Because then there's nothing to watch in the movie. But there were some haha moments. Yeah. I wanted it to be super.
Yeah.
I was watching. I was
expecting it to be.
I was excited for it. Come on, movie! I want you to get there. Then it just never got there.
The scene of the duck drowning a dog was pretty damn funny.
It was not something that I say I wouldn't watch again, but it's one of those situations, like I said, across like something else we watched. I would watch it with
somebody else who hasn't seen it. Yeah,
yeah, and that's where it falls for me. It falls on, oh, you watching Ricky Stanicky? Like, or if we're looking for something to watch, hey, put on Ricky Stanicky.
Something if it's you want some background noise and you're doing something else, to where you're not paying attention to it.
No, not that. No.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like if you were like if
I wasn't talking about that either. I wouldn't put it on to do the dishes. I wouldn't put it on to sweep the floor. I wouldn't put it on for anything. I would put it on for a person that never saw. Put it like this: if we had a conversation on John Cena's best movies, it would go before Argyle. That's where I'm at with it.
And where would Argyle land?
That's a great question for another show.
I mean, he was in that movie for
if we break down John Cena movies.
We do.
If y'all want us to do that, let us know.
Literally in that movie for like all of maybe 2 minutes.
So if y'all want us to break down John Cena movies and to let you know where this one would fall, he's been in the Fast and the Furious. He's been in Argyle. He's been in Ricky Stanicky, the Marine. He's also been in the vacation movie that we were talking about earlier.
Vacation Friends.
He was in 12 Rounds. He has some work.
Yeah, he has some work.
He can do a top
that 7. Netflix movie that we never watched, Hidden Strike.
It was on Netflix?
I think it was on Netflix.
It never had a release date. It didn't have a production company.
Yeah, it's streaming on Netflix right now.
Yeah, we're obligated to watch that. We owe that to our fans.
Watch that.
So we can say exactly where that falls. Maybe Jackie Chan can save that movie.
I don't know about that. It is currently rated as a 5.3 on IMDb.
Out of what?
Out of 10.
That ain't half good.
I mean, it's over half bad.
It's over 3.
it's over
0.3.
It's over half bad.
We knew
Yeah.
the trailer sucked, but it's okay. Jackie Chan's in it.
Oh yeah, I forgot he
And
was in Daddy's
John
Home too.
Cena. Was he in Daddy's Home too?
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
at the
Mark Wahlberg. Yeah.
because at the end
Okay.
of Daddy's Home,
Cena shows up on a
Cena
motorcycle.
shows up on the motorcycle. So yeah, he's in Daddy's Home too. Him and Mel Gibson.
There you go. Now
Because
see,
Mel Gibson
it's
is
it's
the Mel Gibson is Mark Wahlberg's dad, I think.
it's starting to feel more like we need to do a JC recap, not the NSYNC character. I don't
But
know.
I
If
mean,
the fans want it, we'll do it. If y'all want us to do a order rating JC movies, let us know.
I've seen almost all of his.
You haven't seen Hidden Strike?
I have not. That's why I said almost.
There you go.
But yeah.
Have you seen 5.3% of his movies?
Well, I would be over 5.3%.
Have you seen half of them?
I would say 50, more than half. Yeah, I would say I've seen more than half.
There you go. We could do like Voss does and just do a breakdown and just keep a running tally of where they line, like how he's doing for the X-Men 13 movie franchise. So we could do that and just keep.
We'd have to do a real abbreviated version of that.
Of course. Because it takes time to watch all those movies.
Yeah.
But that's only if our audience wants us to do that. So if they do, they'll let us know in the comments. And if they don't, then we won't. That's how that works.
Yeah, there it is.
Got to get y'all involved.
Let us know. Leave it in the comments, but
leave a like and a comment.
Yeah. Remember, if you like this video, go ahead, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you can be notified. Yeah, hit it 3 times because you'll subscribe, unsubscribe, and then subscribe again.
Indecisive.
But if you like this show, like we said, hit the bell so you can be notified when we have new episodes that come out. If you want the audio version of the podcast, just search for All Things Super on your favorite podcast streaming platform. And if you want to join in on the conversation and reach out to us on social media, just go ahead and click the link in the description below.
And here's the thing, leave a comment of a movie that y'all think y'all want us to review, and we'll review it for y'all.
It doesn't have to be new or upcoming or anything like that. If it's one of your favorite movies,
we've done it before. We've done it before for our audience. They suggested a movie to us to review and watch, and we did that. I'm proud of that moment.
Yeah,
but I think it's time for us to do it again. So leave the movie that you guys will want us to review.
Let us know what you think. Let us know what it is that you want us to review. Let us know what it is that you
analyze that. I keep doing it backwards. Analyze that.
Oh, but thank you all so much for joining us in this episode. We love and appreciate all the support. We hope to see you all in the next one. But just remember, until then, keep being safe.